There are two areas in the program where you can control your project settings. One of them is under project definitions, and that's specific to the project that you're working on. There's also a global rule set, and that's located under Setup, My Company, Information and Settings. Now in this area you can see a lot of other areas of the program that have global rules. Specifically we're going to talk about projects in this video. So if we go to the projects, we can see these 5 different tabs. Project options, assignment options, your project reminders along with assignment reminders, and then budgetary alerts. Now, there's a lot of options in each one of these tabs, and to help you out, we've actually included help bubbles that will give you all the specific details for each one of those. What I'm going to talk about are best practices. These are what most offices find useful and the most flexible version of these setup options. So for example, here under project options, you're going to probably want to select the prompt when WIP exists. This is going to allow you to track whether a project has been billed when you complete it. You're also going to want to copy over your project notes. This will allow you to actually have notes from one specific project roll over to the next period. In addition to that, you may want to set your default priorities to a 3. The reason being is if you need to elevate a project, you have room to do so. Under assignment options, what we would recommend that your global rules for your assignment options be is what you see on the screen here. You want to use assignment groups because this is your predetermined set of assignments per project. And you're also going to want to allow concurrent open assignments. Again, this is a best practice. This gives you the flexibility of being able to skip steps if needed, go back to previous assignments, and so on. And by using the assignment groups, you can predetermine all the assignments that make up your projects. Under the project reminders, this is an area where you can control alerts that the project manager will receive based on the due date of the project. So in this example, if our project was due April 15th, the project manager would receive an alert 5 days prior to that due date. Now 5 days may not be enough time, and in most cases I would recommend something between 2 weeks and maybe 30 days. That way the project manager is alerted with enough time to actually go ahead and get that work completed. The next tab over here are the assignment reminders. Now this can be a little confusing at first, so I'm going to go ahead and spend a minute talking about this. The assignment reminders are based on when a task is given, when you actually assign work. How much time are you allotting to that step number 1 to complete that assignment based on when you're assigning it, or how many days prior to the due date for that assignment do you want them to be alerted? So in this example, if I had set a due date for a particular assignment to be on the 30th of the month, then that staff member would be alerted on the 25th. If I did not put a due date for that assignment, and all it had was the assigned date, then it would actually create a due date for you automatically based on this value. So if I assigned work on the 15th and did not have a due date in the system, using this value right here, it would actually create a due date for you of the 20th. Now I know that's a little confusing, but in most cases you want this to be within about a week. It's no fair to assign work and not alert somebody about it, right? So 5 to 7 days is usually okay. Now just below, while these reminders are set up for assignments, this particular option is actually for the project manager. So in this scenario right here, the project manager would receive an additional alert if the project didn't have an assignment within the value of days here. So just as we saw in the project reminders, and I'll go back a tab to show you that, we have 14 days. So what's going to happen here is if the project that you have and the due date, if it's not done within 14 days, then the project manager is going to receive an alert. And that simply just means it's coming up within 2 weeks of the due date for the project, and here's the alert. This setting here is in addition to that. But this is based on the fact that not only is the project coming up due, but it's never been assigned. This is a project without an assignment. And this is set up for 30 days. So how this would play out is 30 days before the due date, the project manager would receive an alert saying, hey, this project is not only coming up due, but it actually hasn't even been assigned yet. The work has never started. So then they can take the action, go ahead and assign the work, and begin working on it. Now, as time goes on, when it gets within that 14-day reminder that we have set up here, they're going to receive an additional alert saying, hey, it's being worked on, but it's not done, and you only have 14 days left. So again, I know this can be a little confusing, but the idea being here is that you have one alert for the project, for the due date of the project. Then you have an additional alert for the fact that the project hasn't started. Now, I would highly recommend that you use the project reminder alert. The alert for projects without an assignment is handy, but in a lot of cases what you end up with are two alerts. So, as a best practice, I would say project reminders within about a 2-week period, assignment reminders for projects without an assignment probably within 30 days. Now, you do have some options on each one of these screens to actually set and update projects with your new settings if you like. And those are how the reminders work. Now, the budget alerts are not too dissimilar, but this allows you to put in values for hours, cost, and price and have alerts notify you when you reach certain percentages here. So in this example, we have yellow alerts that are going to go off at 75% of budget for both hours, cost, and price, or fee. And then there's also a red alert. So again, best practices is probably 70, 75%, 90%. I have, however, seen many offices that, first of all, may turn off the yellow alerts entirely. They just want one alert, and then they'll set that singular red alert to 100%. For them, the idea being that they are not getting an alert until something is over budget. Now, again, every office is going to be a little bit differently. Some people want to be alerted prior to going over budget. Other offices tend to want to take care of things kind of after they've already hit that mark. But again, this allows you to control those values. So again, these are kind of best practices for each one of these screens. I do recommend that you go through and just reference the help bubbles, and they'll help clarify the very specific settings in here. But if you mirror what you see here on the screen, then this is a very, very good starting point when it comes to your project global settings.